Welcome to another Kitchen Sink My Crust. Me, I'm Casey Rochford, and we have it going for $10. $10 to become a subscriber. Do you want to become a subscriber and like and share the video? Just $10. I hear $10, $20 over here, $20 over there. KSMvidcast.com.
Whoa, for a minute, I thought you were the Micro Machines guy.
No, I just had a couple beers.
So have I, but I can't possibly keep up with that cadence. So I'm Eric Rosenblatt, and don't forget, we write our own music. It's available on iTunes and Spotify and stuff, so stick around to the end of the episode. Timestamp down here if you want to skip to the music just to hear the music and don't want to hear us talk. Go to our website at ksmvidcast.com. And yeah, so Casey, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, since I had the motor mouth, maybe we should do something quick, like a lightning round.
Lightning round? Hell yeah. All right.
You need to have like a little guitar solo.
Well, we at least have the lightning round sound effect and a little video clip. For those who don't know what lightning round is, we take all of our major categories, topics of conversation, and we divvy them up. We got 5 minutes to talk about them, and Casey and I don't know what the other person's going to bring up, except for the last one. We both know. And yeah, hilarity ensues. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So I guess who's beginning?
Well, I think you're starting off things tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be me. So that would be
philosophy.
Philosophy.
That's how I pronounced it in phonetics class in Montessori.
Well, that's phonetically correct, I guess. But for those who don't understand phonics, it's philosophy. Yeah. So
and phonics worked for me.
Well,
I've already had 2 beers. And
I think I've had 3. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's probably
mine's aged in a bourbon barrel.
And mine's just the usual space dust. Okay, so without any further ado, we're talking philosophy. The topic of conversation is the death penalty.
Oh yeah, we did an episode on this when they brought back the federal death penalty, but like I always go back and forth on this. And I don't even remember what my stance was back then. That was like first season.
It was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of, after all the talk that we've done in various episodes about prison reform and like different ways of, anti-recidivism and, social adjustments and things like that. I think there's just no excuse not to try to rehabilitate people, which we're not even doing really. Like
no, you're right. We're barely. I mean, we're basically just putting people in a memory hole.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some people that are just like constant repeat offenders, or they're just straight up like, if you let me go, I'm just going to do it again. And at that point, I'm still kind of like, well, they're drained. So,
well, yeah. Like, and is the problem that, is the solution to kill them, or is the solution to understand what's actually going on? Because I feel like nobody really knows in a lot of these cases what's going on. There's all kinds of psychiatrists and psychologists, and they claim to know everything, but it's like, okay, fix that one.
I mean, there's merit to that, but it's not like we aren't studying them. Like there's tons and tons of studying. There's MRIs, functional MRIs, there's autopsies, all kinds of stuff. We understand a good chunk of the mental and physical attributes that go into sociopathy and psychopathy and things like that.
But then, like, why are we not able to solve those particular problems?
Because society, like there's so many factors. How do you control for them all? How do you,
yeah, that's true.
How do you find them if somebody doesn't want you to find them? That's one of the key things about sociopaths and psychopaths is they're very good at hiding their tracks. They understand two different ways of thinking. They understand completely self-serving, and they understand how they're supposed to look, and they can morph and meld back and forth as like some kind of psycho ninja.
Psycho ninja. Well, and I would still say, like, I don't think the solution is just execute people if they're not fitting in. Like that rubs me the wrong way. Like
they're danger.
Yeah.
And they don't integrate well with society. We've recently talked about sovereignty and off-grid living, but then you're basically just exiling and look at like Devil's Island or Australia or like
yeah
like how well does that work even? Like there's really no good way to fix somebody that just doesn't want to play nice and doesn't want to be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very differently if you're acting in self-defense, right? If you're defending yourself, there's somebody, a home invasion, there's like 5 big ass dudes that bust into your house and you've got a gun. Well, yeah, defend yourself and you might have to kill people.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody enclosed in some kind of place where they can't get out, well, why do we elect to ceremonially kill them? That like just like always has bothered me.
I mean, yeah, it's touted as a deterrent. It clearly isn't.
No, you're absolutely right about that. It absolutely is not a deterrent, because look at how many serial killers and mass murderers and
okay, so maybe it's both. Maybe it is a deterrent to people that aren't 100% sociopathic but might sometimes feel like they want to kill someone. They might be like, I'll just get the death penalty. Maybe in that aspect, like we're not seeing the flip side of it, because we've basically almost always had the death penalty or some severe measure of punishment, to where we've never really had a control group sort of situation, because again, society.
Dang it. Damn, that was getting good. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. Oh man. Shit. Well, we're clearly going to have to go back into that one.
Oh yeah.
Like I had said earlier, lightning rounds are kind of like a KSM topic farm.
Yeah. We almost should just do one like once a month. Like,
yeah, we always get really good ideas.
So like,
it's your turn now.
Yeah, I guess that brings us to the economy, and I kind of went a little different direction with this topic.
That's okay.
So I think I'd like to discuss the idea that human lives are the currency of war.
Ooh. Well, to whom?
I mean, like the governments to go to war with each other. Like we've talked about this before. Like, why aren't they on the front lines? Why aren't they the ones? It's because they're spending humans. They're like, oh, we'll invest this many humans. Oh, we lost some of them. Let's get some more. Let's print some more humans.
Yeah. And ooh, that does kind of put a really interesting spin on warfare.
Like everything that's going on in Afghanistan got me thinking, like, we spent 20 years over there and then we left and it was back to, being in shambles. It was like we just wasted a bunch of our soldiers' lives.
And not just our soldiers' lives, but what about the Afghani people?
Yeah.
Like there are a lot more people dead than are accounted for in our
Yeah.
books.
We pretend like we respect and honor our military, but we treat them like fucking paper money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Well,
that, like that's I get having, you know, jobs for the military. You know, people are like, well, we shouldn't really leave Afghanistan because then we might lose our jobs or whatever. It's like sometimes you got to lose jobs, right? Like,
would you rather lose your job or your life?
right.
That's
And that's how I see it. Is like we just it's almost like war has become a stock option.
war has become a career. Yeah. And yeah, people don't look at the other aspects, the other implications of warfare. They tally up the numbers like, oh, they're dead versus our dead and whatnot. And that apparently is the
how's that going
scale.
For killing a philosophy, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, you know, I don't know you could put a price on a human life, but you probably also couldn't put a price on something historically priceless. Like I remember back in the day, the U.S. went into Iraq and destroyed the Iraqi museum with all kinds of, like, there's no replacement for these things, like these artifacts from the past, like, and people, this is human past.
Yeah.
Keep in mind too. It's like, oh, it's the Iraqi museum. What does that matter? No, this is all of us. This is our human existence right here. And it's destroyed all in account of some kind of like bullshit conflict. Like
you said you can't put a price on human life. And I was about to say, I didn't mean it that way.
Mm-hmm.
More that we're just like spending humans as if they were as meaningless to us as a paper dollar, you know, like, but we kind of do put value on humans in war, because I remember my grandpa telling stories about World War II. Like, he could have easily been killed. There was a sniper waiting in the trees for weeks, and then a lieutenant comes along and gets taken out because he's a higher rank. He's worth more. Like, they are just currency. And that's stupid. Like, we're fighting over currency effectively.
Well, it's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of similar to US dollars or any other paper currency or something. It's the same piece of paper, right? It's same as a human. It's a human being. You just have a different number on your head. You know, so I don't know that. I'm getting kind of skeeved out about that now.
Yeah. Like I had that revelation today on the train, and I was like, oh my God, war sucks. Even worse now. Like,
yes.
Like, we're just objectified, like valued at some like arbitrary rate and sent out to, like, I don't even know what the point is. Honestly.
Well, you know, war is hell. So why do we romanticize it?
And suicide is painless.
Well, and that ties in nicely with war, actually.
Yeah.
Jeez. Ooh.
I think there's a reason that was the MASH theme song.
Yep. Oh, good series, by the way.
Yeah, and movie.
Oh, well, that's time. That's actually a really good point. And yeah, if you haven't seen MASH, if you're one of the millennials or you know, a bunch of kids or something. Oh, sorry, my mic is a little bit off kilter. If you haven't seen
a little to the right,
yeah, you probably watch MASH. It's a really good series.
It is drama and comedy, like
a
little bit of history.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's even almost a poetic justice in the fact that, how many seasons was it? Like 11 or something?
I think so, yeah.
Like the Korea War was like 2-3 years, and it took 11, and it's like, well, that's kind of how we do wars now, you know. Like, oh well, it could have been over in 3 years, but we're gonna do 20.
Man, yeah.
Well, anyway, the bell. So
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
Step off that soapbox and on to the
Yeah.
next.
um, I was going to go into a whole tirade about the Vietnam War and stuff, but I'll skip it for now. So let's see. I guess it's me now. So I have public health and safety, and I guess how about we talk about HOAs?
I did a minute microscopy on that because it was a while back now, but they're useless. I mean, I rented a house that had an HOA while the first time I was going through cancer. We ran our business out of there. You remember it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was in University Place, so of course it's like a bunch of uppity rich people, and then me, and and then I'm going through cancer, and like mowing the lawn and kicking up all that shit when I have no immune system. It just didn't seem like a priority, and the grass got like an inch long, and I get this nasty gram on my door. It's like, if your grass gets much longer, there's going to be rats living in it.
Like, what?
Are you serious?
Okay, that's not how rats work.
No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if rats have a choice between going in that nice warm house and like chilling in 1.5 inch long grass, they're going to go in the house. So like,
yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is like, clearly that particular person didn't know how rats work. And I've got mixed feelings about HOAs. I don't like them. I would never live in a place with an HOA. However, as an anarchist, an HOA fulfills a certain role, and that is providing a community resource like roads, sometimes schools, libraries.
it has that potential, but it's
It
not.
does. Well, and it all depends on the different place that you live now, and that's the thing, is not all HOAs are created equal.
Yeah.
You can't expect to see the perfect HOA over there and have yours work the same way. Although, just like democratic processes, you can get on the board of directors, you can become part of the HOA and help make decisions. And because there's fewer people involved, you actually have a lot more sway in making.
I never thought about it that way. Had I known that, I would have probably tried to get on the board and be like, what is this HOA doing? Like, because I mean, it's not like that was like a pristine paved road or anything.
No.
And it was all about aesthetics of the lawn, and that's all I've ever seen, frankly, is like, oh, you can't paint your house that color. Oh, you have to have your grass a certain length. It's like, what? That's all.
That's because the people on the board, by and large, are a bunch of like ninnies. Like, that's why if you can have a pretty decent system if you're somebody who wants a system where the community pays for certain things. You just have to participate.
I'm gonna move into an HOA and make my house look like Castle Grayskull, and you just try to fuck with me.
Hell yeah. Okay, yes, thumbs up for that one. But or how about this? You get on the board and you compel everybody else to make their houses look like Castle Grayskull.
Okay, I'm all for that.
Yeah. and yeah, HOAs are
start every meeting by the power of Grayskull.
Oh man. Okay, I'd like to watch that one. But it's a good way to solve the issue of people wanting the community to provide for a few basic things, whatever, and set a few ground rules, I guess. Me, I'm not a ground rules person. You know, you give me that, I'm like, fuck you. But there are a lot of people who want that, and you can have it with an HOA.
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want.
If it was all about communal good, you know, like fundraising for illness, even, you know, like things like that, like we actually care about the people who live here, you know, and yeah, I could be on board with that, right?
Well, and that's
But
where getting into the board is important. And giving a really epic Picard speech, like compelling people, like, man, this is really important to pay for this thing because like this matters. And you could create a community that makes a difference. Gosh, well, I guess that's time.
damn, you have it set for 4 minutes or like
No, it's 5. Yeah. And I even wait. Now I'm waiting until the end of when we say the topic we're talking about before I start the timer. So we have a few extra seconds there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you know, I would never think I would argue in favor of HOAs, but yeah,
that could be an episode.
Yeah, I think it should. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's on to you now.
We should even get like a Karen from an HOA to like
outvoted
with the bob haircut and like
oh man.
all right, well, let's
Okay,
move on to religion.
Okay, so that's you. Tell me when to start and I will start. Actually, just say things and I will start.
Just say things. All right.
Well, good. Say the topic at least.
All right. Sexism is all religion's fault.
Ooh, it might be. Huh.
I can't think of an origin of men are better than women, blah blah blah, or whatever, you know, that isn't somehow tied to religion.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, like, any idiot can say whatever they want. Like, I can say, oh, women are a subspecies, but nobody has to agree with me. But as soon as I sit on a podium in a church, all of a sudden a whole bunch of people agree with me.
Okay, there's one thing I can think of. Biologically, there is a dichotomy. There's an obvious difference between the two, which builds in a kind of natural competition. So if one guy says women are a subhuman species, then other guys are going to be like, well, I'm not a woman, so I agree with that. You know, like,
yeah.
And I can see that from a biological standpoint, but the affirmation of those kinds of thoughts are like made into if you don't follow this, you're going to hell kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it reinforces that groupthink.
Well, and a lot of Western or Eastern, you know, the Quran or the Bible, like they all kind of carry the same sort of vein of subservience of women.
The Abrahamic religions, yeah. Like it actually gets worse the newer the religion. But it's not every religion, you know, like paganism, Wiccanism, stuff like that. That was very like, you know, you had goddesses and they were kind of like the top dog, really.
Well, it was equality too.
Yeah,
gods and goddesses and all this.
Yeah, stuff. There was worship of the phallus on May Day, you know, Beltane, and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, there was a significant lean towards equality in certain religions, but those religions are basically dead.
Well, that was what I was getting at. Like, how many of them are actually still active today?
Mm-hmm.
So I think
on life support at the very least.
Yeah. So. Well, there's kind of a resurgence, like neo-paganism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much ground does that really have?
And meanwhile, why do we have to call something neo if it's following just the same philosophy of the old one? You know.
Well, that's a good point, huh?
Anyway,
where's neo Christianity?
yeah, I think that's called Trump supporters. I don't know.
Is that religious? Well, okay, never mind. Rhetorical question. Oh man,
some people thought he was the second coming of Christ, but that toupee, man.
I think you're right, though. Like, religiosity is required for people to forego their logic and reason and see people in the way they do. I don't know. Sorry, I think I got that fly. There's a fly flying right here. Yeah. But
what if that was a woman fly? You just totally killed it, man.
Oh, that was somebody's mother. Oh my God. I mean, you know, equality though. You're flying around my face, you're fucked like anyone else. Man, woman, you're all dead.
I mean, that's a good point, is like equality does include the bad with the good. You know, the whole concept of you can't hit a woman, like it's like if you want to be treated equal, if you're lipping off, you're gonna get socked. You know. Like,
yeah, I'm all for that. You know, I mean,
I'm not saying go beat women. It's like
no. It's a response to
yeah. If you're gonna throw a punch at anybody, be like, let it be irregardless of their sex. You know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. You know, like don't hit people if you can help it. You know?
And don't hold back if it's a woman too. You know, like there's times you've got to do that. I might have done that in the past.
Oh yeah, like
oh shit. Oh, that was
probably best I didn't tell that story.
that was pretty good though. Okay, so I guess it's on to me. More beer. Fortunately, I got more beer behind that beer. But okay, so current events is my topic. All right. Well, I only got one word. Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I mean, it's a big current event.
Yeah, I mean, I sympathize with what's going on. Like there was that video of people falling off the plane, which actually came out of JBLM right here in Washington. You know, and it's like I sympathize a lot with the pilots that had that Sophie's choice ahead of them. It's like there's 800 people on the plane. Do I protect them or do I protect the, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 people that are crawling on the plane outside? You know, like you're fucked either way.
Yeah. I mean, it does say a lot that quite a few people are willing to clutch onto the landing gear to get out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know, the media is telling us like, well, it's really not that big of a deal. But it's like, well, if it's not that big of a deal, why are those people so adamant? Like, why are they willing to risk their lives to hold on to landing gear or the wings or something to get out of that place? Like,
yeah. We constantly have people in this country being like, oh, the guy I voted for didn't get in, so I got to leave the country. But you're not climbing on landing gear, are you?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're sitting out there from a distance looking from outside looking in.
Yeah.
Like this is my whole thought is we should have never been in there to begin with. In some kind of big way. And this is one of the few times I'll agree with Biden. There was no right time to leave, and it was always going to result in some kind of catastrophe.
And like I as well don't really agree with Biden on a lot of things, but I think he made the right call. And I constantly have to remind people that are getting pissed off at him that Trump wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Obama wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And neither of them followed through with their promise. Biden actually did. So like, I got to give him props for that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, as far as politicians go, like he actually did something he said he would do. So, all right.
Yeah. That's rare actually.
Yeah.
But it's a tumultuous place. You know, I did a minute microscopy about this. I'm up there, over there. Yes.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, over there.
That one.
Yeah, we'll have that over there. If we can remember.
Right.
Yeah. It's not the place you want to get involved.
Well, why do we constantly get involved? Like, I want all of our foreign bases gone. It's not.
I agree. Yes,
it's not fair unless we have foreign bases on our soil. Mm-hmm. Tit for tat. Like if we're going to be parked in somebody else's country, ally or not, they should have the exact same thing. Not just an embassy, like, or diplomatic immunity kind of like, oh, here's your fucking get out of jail free card. No, like you have your fucking military here.
Oh, no, you bring up a really good point. Where are the foreign Chinese bases in like Oregon, or the foreign Russian bases in Texas? Where are they? And if you have a problem with those things existing in the US, why are you okay with US bases?
Nobody thinks about it like that. That's why.
No, don't. And therein lies the problem, I would argue.
It's like, think about if that happened to your country. If you were occupied by even a friendly person, quote unquote, it could go sideways at any point, and then guess what? You got a base right inside your border.
Oh yeah, and
so that kind of curtails anything you might say to them, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
man,
it's such a fucking power play. It sickens me. Like
it is.
We're the enemy, really.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, exactly. Like, what are we even doing there to begin with? That
like the fact that there's so much pushback against us makes sense.
I agree.
Mic drop.
That is definitely a mic drop moment. Oh man, I feel like that should be an episode.
It should be. Well, I think we need to do a live episode with maybe a member of the military or something that could at least have, you know, like an ear to the ground, even if they weren't over there. And I'm working on that angle, actually. Maybe a live stream, because, you know, then a lot of people could chime in real time and stuff. So
yeah,
that would be pretty cool. We haven't done live in months.
It's been a while. Yeah,
4 months. Wow. Anyway, moving on. From a dark and grim.
So from that heavy topic, let's go into tomfoolery.
Yes, tomfoolery.
Oh yeah.
Where does that word even come from? Is it Tom and Jerry?
I don't know.
No.
I think it precedes that, actually.
That would be interesting. Put it in the comments if you know. If you're a complete fucking nerd, and you know, like I'm one to talk.
Like we're ones to talk.
Everybody's a nerd about something.
Yep.
Change my mind.
And that's something that the angry video game nerd addressed with sports games. It's like even sports.
Oh yeah.
Are nerds.
Cosplay with the jerseys and shit.
Yes, dude. Sports people are nerds too.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
Total
collecting cards and looking at stats and all this stuff. Yeah, you're a fucking nerd. You just admit it. It's okay. It's okay. We'll
I've never twice or three times, you know, twice or thrice have I ever put on a Star Trek uniform. But
never.
every week in your own home, wearing a jersey.
Exactly.
Pretty nerdy. Anyway.
Well, so I guess we're supposed to be talking about tomfoolery.
Yes. Not picking on the jocks.
No, well, they picked on us back then, but
you know what
rhymes
I'm
with your fucking computer, bitch.
You know what rhymes with jocks?
Cox?
Well, yeah, but I was thinking Crocs are the dumbest fucking shoe that has ever been invented. What do you think?
Yeah. Weren't Crocs actually developed as like a boat shoe?
I don't know.
Like
They're
with
like
all those holes and being
they're like a
rubbery?
clog / Swiss cheese / battery packaging. Like,
but then there's like Croc butter, which to me just feels like it's like toe jam.
Wait a minute, is this butter or is this a shoe?
It's like a compound that you rub into your Crocs to keep them malleable. Like, yeah, exactly.
I didn't know they were malleable. They look like they could shed blood. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, Crocs are supposed to be kind of like a boat shoe, like a water-based kind of thing. And somehow they became fashionable for people to wear everywhere.
I mean, I've heard they're really comfortable. They're popular with nurses, I guess. But
so are, flip-flops are comfortable. But
Doc Martens and
but how useful are they?
Yeah, I mean, and they're ugly. I mean, like
Crocs they totally are.
Crocs are like the PT Cruiser of shoes.
Mm-hmm. True that is very true. Oh,
sorry if you drive a PT Cruiser, but I mean,
PT loser.
You're driving the Crocs of cars.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, like Chrysler, PT Cruiser, like isn't actually as bad as people say it is. Design wise, it's not that bad.
It looks like a sneaker, but
not so bad as the Viper, the original Viper. That's like a clown shoe.
So well, yeah, the PT Cruiser looks more like a high top, like Air Jordan or something. Like,
yeah,
like you could pump it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and people have hacked PT Cruisers and turned them into like Woodies and all kinds of things. Like, I mean, like what Chrysler did. Okay, the Prowler was the tits. I like the Prowler. Like, that was cool, like stock. You take stuff out of the bin and cobble together a car. Like, the Prowler was pretty freaking cool.
But we're talking Crocs though. Like, is there any dumber shoe that you can think of? Like,
flip-flops are dumber. I hate flip-flops. Like, if it came down to flip-flops or Crocs, I would definitely go with Crocs.
I mean,
like, at least the heel fits.
Yeah, I mean, heel. Okay, yeah, like I do think I don't even like the word flip-flops. Like, when we were young, they were called thongs. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, now thongs.
But then underwear became a thing.
Monetized if we talk about thongs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, they're not my favorite shoe, if you can even call it a shoe.
Yeah,
they like cut into your toes and stuff, and like they make that stupid noise and shit. But I mean, those are dumb too. But like, as far as an enclosed shoe goes, I can't think of anything dumber than a freaking Croc. Like,
they are pretty terrible.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna wear a clog, fine, wear a clog.
Yeah.
But this like $13 plastic shoe with holes in it. What?
Well, and again, it was
13.
developed as a boat shoe. And as such, it works pretty remarkably well for that purpose.
What do you like not slip in it or something?
Well, like the holes allow water to come out, and it's water repellent. So that makes sense.
My motorcycle boots are water repellent. They don't have any holes in them.
Well, it's different when you're submerged in water. But that doesn't translate necessarily to the real world, to everything else. Like, oh, dang it. That's a pretty good tomfoolery topic. So more beer.
Actually, speaking of more beer, why don't we take a quick commercial break? Because I have to empty the Crocs. I was trying to think of a euphemism, but that's all I could come up with.
I'd rather have a good example.
Gotta take a leak.
Pseudo cheese. That's right. Pseudo cheese. Available in stores now. Rated as the best cheese Cheeseco produces. Slices easily. Tastes great. Melts deliciously. Limitless uses. %, all natural and GMO free. Head to your local grocer today and ask for genuine Cheeseco pseudo cheese. And remember, it may not be real cheese, but it sure is orange.
Man, I seriously want to know what happens behind that door. Like, what is behind there?
A sex dungeon.
Well, that brings us into our next topic. Actually, it doesn't, but I wish it would. So the next topic is conspiracies. Okay. Conspiracy.
The government's behind this show, isn't it?
I would imagine it is. So the subject is, do you think government and corporations collude to stifle development of alternative energy solutions? Like the water-powered car, the 100-mile-per-gallon carb, or the EV1?
Yeah, because lobbying.
Yeah. Well, and the petrodollar is a factor as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a multifaceted issue going on, and it's. I mean, this is why I'm a big advocate for the idea of, since technology can now accommodate this, just have our politicians be like fucking anonymous.
Or why don't we have our politicians be robots?
Facebook algorithms. They know me better than I do. So,
well, yeah, I could imagine people voting on gaming platforms for their representatives.
Yeah, but that's a definite problem. We've got this very corporate oligarchy, I guess you call it.
It's kind of an oligarchy.
Yeah, we don't really have representatives that represent the people, they represent whoever pays the most behind, or under the table or whatever.
And they represent systems too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of crossover. Like our last president was a business person, not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, it's fine to have a non-politician in politics, because politics really shouldn't be like a career. But
Jimmy Carter is a good example of that. Like, he was an outsider as well.
Was he?
Peanut farmer. Yeah.
I mean, Ronald Reagan was an actor, but
I
think he at least became a governor first or something. Right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think it was California, I believe.
So like, I don't know how much it's like a conspiracy as it's just like pure raw greed. I don't know how many machinations there are, but I mean, like, there's a pretty good chance there are when it comes to like stifling progress that takes us away from already existing structures that are profitable.
Well, yeah, exactly, because progress indicates diminishing what exists before. Like, if you develop some kind of super awesome technology, electric cars or something like that, if you happen upon some kind of weird fourth dimensional water powered car technology, well, you're going to be shut down, because the powers that be don't want that to exist, because if that existed, they would lose their power overnight.
But it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like, some businesses fail and some will adapt. Like, if we move away from fossil fuels, Exxon could just get into solar or nuclear or whatever. Nintendo used to sell freaking chopsticks. They adapted.
And Nintendo sold, actually, there in the 1889, I think, Nintendo sold Hanafuda cards to combat. Hanafuda was like a counter to the gambling regulations in Japan, where you couldn't have numbers on cards, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, like, times change, things change, seasons change,
and
we have to.
Like, if the same people that tell you to diversify your stocks won't diversify their own companies. Like, branch out, try different things, like dip your toes in some other waters. Like, you don't have much to lose when you're like way up on the top. You try something different, you're still gonna be standing tall, so I really don't understand why there's so much like holding us back from progress.
Oh,
another mic drop.
That is a total mic drop. That's good. Oh, man. Well, I guess it's on to you now.
Politics.
Yes, politics.
The politics of dancing.
Oh, good
politics
song.
Of feeling good.
Good song. Good song.
Name that band.
Oh, man.
So what do you think of all the recent calls for vaccine mandates?
Ooh. I got mixed feelings. I mean, it's kind of a good idea to be vaccinated. I mean, we've been down this road before. This is nothing new. Okay, people in my generation don't remember polio, but the previous generation did, and vaccines fixed that.
well, in our generations, saw measles disappear and then reappear.
Because of people not
vaccinated,
like not using vaccines.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
It's you don't have to understand that much about biology to get the premise, but people are like burying their heads in the sand. And in my opinion, they've brought these mandates upon themselves. Like for the longest time, like we're coming up on 2 years pretty soon of dealing with this particular virus. And had people just taken the advice, and it was just advice to begin with, it was advice, then it was like a polite request, and then it was like more of a strong suggestion, and now we're getting mandates, like you want to keep your job, you got to have a vaccine. And it's like you went from having personal choice, but you were a dumbass, so you kind of lost the privilege of having personal choice, and I don't feel sorry for you at all.
Well, I feel
there's a
like
social contract.
I feel like a lot of people
if you want to interact with other human beings, you have to be willing to do no harm.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's not just your body. It's not a body choice when it comes to a vaccine, because vaccines are there to fight things that are without of your control. You can't help the fact that you are spreading something that could kill someone.
And
except you can.
Well,
hey, how about
as
that?
An anarchist, the initiation of force can never be justified. And
never
in that,
no,
vaccines are legitimized. Like it makes sense. If you exist in your own bubble, so be it. But if you want to interact with other people, well, you have to play by some other rules, and that's okay. I don't understand. I mean, to some extent, I understand where people are coming from, but only so far.
Like, schools, though.
Yeah.
Like the university I went to required me to be up to date on the MMR vaccine. And I had to go in and get a booster because, I had that stem cell transplant. So I had to redo my shots, and I only had like one of the MMR at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a good reminder that, so I went and did that, and it was a mandate. Like if I want to go to school there, I got to have this vaccine.
Well, and
nobody bitched about that.
People, here's the thing. People don't bitch about the fact that, like, if they work for a job that involves a lot of travel, you have to have vaccines for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Even if you want to take a vacation, you want to take a vacation to Europe or Africa,
we're specifically talking about employment. Like, people don't complain if an employer requires you to have a polio vaccine. But apparently with this one, that's different.
Yeah.
Well, how is it different?
Yeah.
It's really not that different.
Or even a mask. How's that different from being told you have to wear a shirt?
Exactly. I don't understand people's resistance to this. I get a little bit skepticism is healthy, but it can only go so far.
To a point, yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Double mic drop, I guess. All right. I guess it's on to the last topic.
Oh, yes. Science.
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 I don't have enough tape on my glasses. Yeah.
So this is the one that we both know. It
Mhm.
is our final topic for the evening. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. The
I
evening is
think
coming
we've had
to an
enough
end.
beer.
But in theme with the last topic, and we're trying not to use the C word to see if that little banner pops up or not. There's a recent news.
You can say the coof.
There's recent news out of Israel that due to a lack of boosters, the Pfizer vaccine has now roughly a 39% efficacy rate. And people take that to mean, oh, it's always been 39%. We've been lied to. Science and government can't make up their minds. And it's all about it's misinformation, like, and I mean, not even misinformation, just like misinterpretation
and confusion
of facts
too.
You know, right now, you know, like 6, 7, 8 months after people have gotten the vaccine, which, you know, just like the flu vaccine, you know, which most people go get, and therefore the flu is seasonal. No, most people are like, oh, they're going to put a chip in there, and they didn't get it, so we don't have a seasonal.
Oh my
version
God.
of this virus.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Like the chip thing. I wanted to spell this right now. Like the whole, like, oh, they're going to put a QR code on your skin. Like, look, I got the J&J vaccine a couple weeks ago, and it was in a normal syringe. That very, very tiny. There's no way. Like,
those are like insulin needles.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there is no way there's some kind of carrier, or like bringing some other thing in.
And what's it going to interface with and be powered off of?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. like, well, nobody thinks about that.
No, of course not. And that's actually kind of related. You know, it's all about like a little bit of common sense and critical thinking. You know, just when you see a news article and it throws a statistic out there, think about what that means. Don't just look at the number and think, oh, this is just the way things always were. No, there's like factors that play into it. You know, the vaccine wears down over time. You know, like your antibody production is not like this feedback loop. You know, you know, if it doesn't detect the virus, it's going to slow down production of the antibodies and eventually just stop making them unless you get a booster. You know,
well, and sure, and people are like, oh, well, wait a minute, you know, I was fine with one shot of the polio vaccine, and that was fine. Like, okay,
it's not rapidly mutating because
exactly. That's a factor.
Because we've basically gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to evolve when you don't have a lot of numbers on your side, you know?
Yeah.
And just basic simple science and statistics are just lacking in our education system. And this is what happens.
Yeah.
When you let that occur. Like, this is pandemonium, like out and out turmoil. And it all comes down to just basic common sense.
It really is.
It's wearing on me, man. Like, constantly explaining shit to people. Like, I'm okay when I actually get a lot of people that private message me because they know I'm a biologist, and I'm happy to talk to those people and assuage their fears because I know they're willing to listen and think about what I have to say. But when I come across somebody just online who's like all caps, and it's a pointless.
Well,
I'm
it
tired,
sucks
man.
because
I'm tired,
honestly-
boss. I'm tired of people being mean to each other.
the sad fact of the matter is the all caps people are the people you should be interacting with the most.
And I do. It's just really wearing me out.
It is very, very
Like, I'm losing friends over it now.
Yeah.
Like, really good, honestly good people that I really like block me on Facebook because I'm kind of sick of being nice about it because people are dying, and it's bullshit. Like, I've been way too patient, and people just need to kind of fucking sack up and understand that government and science are not the same thing.
Well, that's
in
a
certain
really good
sectors
point.
they meld, but it is not a global wizard people new world order conspiracy.
But yes, that. Oh.
Damn it.
Okay, that's time. But I would encourage people to watch the conspiracy theory minute macroscopy.
Yeah.
It
Up there, stage right.
Yes. It.
Jeez, another good one.
Yeah.
I think this is our 10th lightning round.
Yeah, I think it is.
They get better and better.
It definitely is. Oh shit.
Well, if we've pissed you off enough to the point where you want to leave a comment, go ahead and leave a comment right down there.
And
Right down there.
Well, if we've pissed you off, we probably pushed the right buttons.
You're not pissing someone off, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. Oh man. That is really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, thanks for deep sink diving with us into a lightning round.
Lightning round. Yeah. Well, and hark, doth I hear a song playing?
Ah, yes.
A dove
Coming upon the
singing
wind.
its song.
Yes.
Yeah.
A certain tonality flying upon the wind.
Well, I would say it's a KSM outro song.
Sounds a bit like Altair.
Oh man.
Yes.
Well,
Hang around for this awesome song you hear coming in right now, and check out previous 9 lightning rounds and everything in between.
they're something else. Oh,
Yes.
man.
And have a great night.